Do you ever wonder whether your body will actually let you live the retirement you're planning? Have you noticed small physical changes, slower movement, lower energy, and quietly told yourself it's just aging? Do you worry deep down that you might lose independence gradually without realizing it until it's already happening? In this video, we're going to talk about a simple but powerful way to see that risk clearly, and why understanding it now gives you leverage, not fear. If you're in midlife, you've probably been told to focus on your weight. You may be carrying a few extra pounds. You may be frustrated that weight loss feels harder than it used to. Maybe you're worried because you know it's not getting any easier with time. But weight is not the number that predicts whether you'll stay independent in your 70s and 80s. There's a different number that matters more, and most people have never been told to pay attention to it. It's not your weight, it's how fast you walk. Researchers call walking speed the sixth vital sign because it predicts falls, disability, loss of independence, and even lifespan better than the number on your scale. Today, I'm going to show you why this one metric matters so much, how to measure yours in under 10 seconds, and what it can tell you right now about your future independence. This isn't about fear, it's about visibility. I'm Tanya Finks, not a personal trainer, just someone like you who's 5 to 10 years from retirement and determined to make the next chapter our strongest yet. After decades coaching people through major life and career transitions, I'm bringing that same clarity-first approach here so we can prepare for retirement with intention, not surprises. If you're new here, welcome to the posse. Most of us have been taught to focus on one health number our entire lives. I don't have to tell you what it is, because we're all getting the same message. So if you're thinking you need to shed a few pounds, you're not alone. But once you see why that number is a poor predictor of independence and what actually matters instead, you'll know exactly where to focus your attention if staying strong, capable, and self-directed later in life matters to you. We've been conditioned to believe that weight is the ultimate health metric. Step on the scale, track the number. If it goes down, you're winning. If it goes up, you're failing. And weight feels reassuring because it's simple. It gives us a single number to focus on. But here's the problem. Weight and even BMI are blunt tools. They tell you very little about how well your body actually functions. Research consistently shows that functional measures, things like walking speed, balance, and grip strength, are often stronger predictors of disability, loss of independence, and even mortality than BMI. Here's why that matters. You can be at a healthy weight and still be at a high risk for losing independence. You can be above your so-called ideal weight and still be strong, stable, and mobile. Because independence isn't about what you weigh, it's about what your body can do. Can you walk confidently without fear of falling? Can you get up off the floor without using your hands? Can you carry groceries, climb stairs, and recover your balance when you stumble? That's capability. And capability is what actually determines whether you stay independent as you age. And here's the key point for this stage of life. There is a single metric that captures all of that surprisingly well. Researchers have been studying this metric for decades. And if you're thinking, if this really mattered, surely I would have heard about it by now, you're not wrong to wonder that. But once you see what this metric is and why it's often called the sixth vital sign, you'll understand why it's one of the clearest early indicators of how long you're likely to stay independent. The metric is called gait speed. It's how fast you walk at your normal, comfortable pace. Researchers call it the sixth vital sign right alongside heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, respiration, and pain level because it behaves like a vital sign. It's quick to measure, it's reproducible, and it's strongly tied to major health outcomes. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA, pooled data from over 34,000 older adults across 9 studies. Here's what they found. Gait speed was strongly associated with survival. For every 1/10 of a meter per second faster someone walked, their risk of death dropped by about 12%. Walking speed predicted disability, hospitalizations, cognitive decline, loss of independence, mortality. And here's what makes it so powerful. Gait speed isn't just about your legs. It's a summary signal of how well your entire system is working. Your gait speed reflects muscle strength, especially in your legs and core. It reflects cardiovascular capacity, your heart and lungs. It reflects balance and coordination, your nervous system. It reflects joint health, hips, knees, and ankles. It reflects confidence, your fear of falling or stumbling. When your gait speed slows, it's not just your legs. It's your whole system whispering, we're losing capacity. And here's the part that matters for you. This isn't just about people in their 70s and 80s. A study found that gait speed at age 45 was already associated with markers of brain and body aging. Midlife is when the changes start. Midlife is also when you still have time to do something about it. So what's the goal? What does good gait speed actually look like? Even if you're already feeling older than you'd like to admit, you don't need to worry. If you've been focused on your weight, keep at it. It can't hurt. I'm totally still working to bring my weight down. But once you see how simple this is to check and how much power you have to improve it, you'll be grateful you started focusing on this now. So what does gait speed look like in real life? Here's what the research shows, not as a scorecard, just as reference points. For generally healthy adults in their 50s, men tend to walk around 1.1 to 1.2 meters per second. Women tend to walk around 1.0 to 1.1 meters per second. Speeds do gradually decline with age, and that's normal. What's important to know is this. Many healthy adults in their 70s still walk comfortably between 0.9 and 1.1 meters per second. So this isn't about youth, it's about capacity. Now here's the context that really matters. When walking speeds drop below about 0.8 meters per second, research links that range to higher risk of falls, hospitalizations, disability, and loss of independence. And here's a real-world example most of us don't think about. To safely cross a standard street at a crosswalk, you typically need to walk between 1.2 and 1.4 meters per second. Think about what that means. If walking at that pace feels difficult, rushed, or unsafe, everyday life starts shrinking quietly. Crossing streets becomes stressful. Errands feel harder. Confidence drops. That's independence. Not someday, right there. I'll share this personally. I'm 55 and I'm moving a little less swiftly than I used to. It's subtle, and honestly, it's something I took for granted for a long time. When I stand up after sitting for a while, especially after working at my desk, I notice I need a minute before I'm moving at what feels like my normal pace. And that normal pace doesn't feel quite as quick as it did even 5 years ago. My dad is in his 80s now. He's developed a bit of a shuffle, which is common at that age. But seeing it up close makes something very clear to me. I can see where this goes, and I want to do what I can while I can. Not from panic, from awareness. Because here's the hopeful part. Gait speed is highly modifiable. You can improve it at almost any age. And I want to be very clear about something. This isn't about hitting a perfect number. It's not about comparison. It's not about fear. It's about noticing where you are and realizing you still have agency. And that's exactly what I want to show you next. How to check your own gait speed simply, safely, and without judgment. I'm going to walk down my hallway at my normal everyday pace. Not trying to impress anyone, not power walking. Just the way I'd move through a store or down the street. Okay, that felt pretty smooth. I can tell I'm not quite as quick as I was in my 40s, and if I'd been sitting for an hour, I'd definitely need a minute to warm up first. But my stride feels steady, my balance feels good, and that's what you're really noticing for. Not perfection, not speed for speed's sake, just awareness. So let me ask you this. How does your body move through space right now? Does it feel confident and fluid, or are you noticing hesitation, stiffness, a little uncertainty? That noticing matters. If you want, tell me in the comments. Have you noticed changes in how you move? Are you feeling stiffer than you used to? Did you try the walk? You're not alone in this, because awareness is always the first step. Now, if you want to measure your gait speed, actually time it, calculate it, and understand what the number means, the Midlife Independence screen walks you through that step by step. But for now, just notice. Now, some of you might be thinking, what if I am noticing stiffness? What if I'm worried I'm already in a danger zone? Is it too late? Here's the part I really want you to hear. It's not too late. This is one of the most changeable metrics we have. A large body of research shows that gait speed improves with relatively simple inputs, not extreme programs, not perfect routines. Things like strength training, especially for the legs, brisk or interval walking, balance work, even stair climbing a few times a week. You don't need a gym. You don't need to become an athlete. You just need to give your body a reason to stay capable. And the earlier you start paying attention, the more independence you preserve. So how do we make this practical without turning it into another overwhelming project? If you're convinced this is something worth paying attention to, the next question becomes, where do you start? Once you see the 3 simple levers that most directly improve gait speed, you'll realize this doesn't have to be complicated, and you can begin today. If you want to protect or improve your gait speed, there are 3 things that matter most. Not complicated, not extreme, just consistent signals to your body that independence matters. First, strengthen your legs. Your gait speed is powered by leg and hip strength. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym. Simple movements count. Sitting down and standing up from a chair, step-ups on a low stair, supported squats or lunges while holding a counter. Even 5 to 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week makes a real difference. This isn't about getting shredded. It's about making sure your legs can keep carrying you. Second, walk with intention. Walking alone is helpful. Walking with intention is protective. That might look like occasionally walking a little faster than your usual pace, or trying interval walking. Normal pace for a minute, then a slightly quicker pace for 30 seconds. You're teaching your nervous system that faster, confident movement is still available. The body adapts to what you ask it to do. Third, practice balance. Balance and gait are deeply connected. And again, this doesn't have to be complicated. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. Walk heel to toe along a line on the floor. Practice getting up and down from the floor safely. These are small actions, but they send a powerful signal. We're staying capable. You don't need to do all of this perfectly. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to start, because small, regular efforts compound. And I'd love to know which one feels most doable for you right now. Leg strength, intentional walking, balance practice? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. Now here's the important thing to understand. Gait speed is one piece of your independence picture. A powerful piece, but not the whole story. And if you're not exercising consistently today, that's okay. I'm not asking you to overhaul your life. What we do here is simpler than that. In the next video, I'll show you how gait speed fits into a complete independence framework, so you know exactly where to focus, what matters most, and what can wait. Once you see that full picture, staying strong, mobile, and capable feels much more manageable. Gait speed is one of the most powerful predictors of future independence, but it's not the only one. That's why I created the Midlife Independence Screen. It gives you a complete picture, so you're not guessing. It walks you through a simple gait speed test with timing and interpretation, a basic strength check, a balance screen, a stamina snapshot, and a tracker so you can see your progress over time. It's free, it's judgment-free, and it takes about 15 minutes. You'll walk away knowing exactly where you stand and what actually deserves your attention. And I want you to hear this clearly. You're not too late. Midlife is the window. This is when small, consistent actions create massive protection for your future. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start paying attention. So download the Midlife Independence Screen. See where you are and start building the capability you want to carry into your 70s and 80s. Because the retirement you're working so hard for, you want to be healthy enough to enjoy it. What good is having enough money saved if you're not mobile enough to travel, strong enough to play with the grandkids, or confident enough to live independently? And that starts with knowing where you stand today. And when you're ready to move beyond the physical side and look at the retirement risk that almost no one plans for, but that quietly shapes how fulfilling retirement actually feels, that video is waiting for you right here. I'll see you there. Thanks for being here, Posse. And remember, wherever you are, now is the time. The best chapter of your life is the one you build now.